said, I want to go second. And then she said, I want to go first. And Shannon was like, I'll go second. And then, anyway, so I'm going to go first. It's funny how, the Lord works. I had got up this morning and told Robert, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get up and talk about, just what we did every day and, just basically the routine of how the day went. And then as I was getting dressed, and Robert and Shannon will tell you, this happens quite often. I was getting dressed and the Lord started just putting little things in my head. And so I started jotting them down, and this paper is like just all over the place. So bear with me because things may not be as structured as I would have liked. But on our last night, we were asked, we were sitting in our group, and you saw the group on the porch. It's a large group. And you get that many people together who basically had never worked together before. And you get 7 nurses who are used to basically, and you nurses can vouch, you're used to running the show, and you get that many personalities together. It was a true miracle right there of how we worked together from day one, just like we had been doing it for years. And it made our day just flow and no hiccups at all as far as the work that, us setting up and us getting to work and, getting things done. But anyway, on our last night, we were sitting around talking about, what this trip had meant to us, what we saw. I saw tons of stuff in Nicaragua that some I've seen before in Haiti, different similarities and stuff as far as the economics and the poverty. But as for me, on the inside, we get so caught up in life. The life that we chose, not the life that God chose for us, but the life that we chose. All of the busyness that we chose. And we rationalize it great. That, I need to do this for my family. So, I can do more for, I can make more money. And, and we play these games in our minds that we're doing it for God. We're doing it for His kingdom. But at the end of the day, if you sit down and you make a list of all this busyness that you're doing versus how much of that is really getting to the kingdom. Because as the song said, we are the kingdom. We are here to do a job. It's nice to have a nice car, nice house that's clean all the time. Mine's not. And, all of that stuff it makes you feel good. But what is it doing for the kingdom? Are you cleaning your house to invite people over for Bible study? Are you just, think about it. What is it doing for the kingdom of God? And because I'm horrible. I stay after this man over here because I want my bedroom finished. We've been working on it for 2 years. I want it finished. Y'all don't receive invitations out to my house because 99% of the time, There's dog hair everywhere. The yard is a wreck. It doesn't matter. That's what I realized on this trip. Because my house being clean is not furthering the kingdom of God. The barn being finished, all the junk that Robert and we all accumulate, he loves it more than I do, but it's everywhere. People that have been to my house know. If you need anything, you call Robert Jones because he's probably got it. And if he doesn't have it, he knows where you can get it. But that stuff does not matter. That's our pride getting in the way. That's all that is. I went longer on that than I thought I was. A lot of people, and we've all heard it, you get more out of serving than those being served. And I started thinking about that. You have people tell you, oh, well, if you're feeling down, go help somebody else. That makes you feel better. That's not a coincidence, folks. God designed us that way. His greatest commandment is to love. That's why we get so much more out of it than the people that we serve. Because we're built that way. We're made to serve. And, as far as why we chose to go to Nicaragua, I basically hit on that a while ago. You're out of your environment. You're away from those things that worry you. You're there, and you're there to do a job. And if the house is clean or dirty, doesn't matter, because you're in Nicaragua, and that's what you're there to do. And we just get so caught up in our lives here that even just the simplest of things, just you see somebody that you see, they're struggling, be it physically, emotionally, financially, whatever. You see that. And you say, I need to say something to them. I need to give them a call. I need to go visit them. And, I know for me, I do it. I am so guilty of it that I get caught up in life and I don't do it. The next time I think about it will be the next time I see that person. And then I feel guilty. Then the whole guilt cycle starts, and I didn't do it last time, so. But I guess, step out. Really think about, your actions. And, I'm preaching to myself just as much as anybody else. But that was the big thing for me, what I realized while I was over there. So I'm going to let you go.
I would like to thank everyone for supporting me on this trip and praying. It wouldn't have been possible without all of you. And so when we went, we had some trouble getting there, and when we got there, our flight got canceled at 9 o'clock at night, and so we didn't really know what to do. And so we finally got there Sunday around lunch, and Sunday night, my kidney stones, I figured out that I had kidney stones, and they started hurting. And Monday, Miss Lynn took me to the doctor, and she acted as my mom and never left me. And Thank goodness I was with a great team of doctors and nurses, and they gave me pain medicine and kept everything under control. And so Tuesday, I finally got to go and work at the clinics and do everything. And there was this little boy, and there was a picture on the video, and we were playing rock, paper, scissors, and I've never played it before. And we didn't like talk or anything because I didn't know how to talk Spanish. And so he kind of taught me how to play by just like doing it and saying no and yes and stuff. And it was just really sweet how he was so happy and they had like nothing at all. And then another day we went and fed a bunch of little kids, and seeing them all lined up was just so sad because that was like the only thing they would get that day. And there was this one little boy, and he slipped in the mud and he dropped all his food, and he just like put his head down and started to cry. And so we helped him up and got him some more. And but seeing everything there and what they have makes you so much thankful for what we have here. And I just had the best time with Miss Lynn and Mr. Robert and Shannon.
All right, I seem to be the only one that didn't prepare a script, so I'm just gonna let God speak through me, and hopefully it'll be good. Sadly, Celia and Mom stole all my material, but there were a lot of things that touched me on this trip. We went to Haiti my freshman year of high school, and so when we were getting ready to go, I was like, I'm pretty sure I know what I'm in for. I know what I'm doing, and I kind of had this preconceived notion of what I was going to get into and what I was going to get out of it. And it turned out to be so much more than I expected. The people, even though they had what we would call nothing, some of the proudest, most in the good way, most humble people and gracious, and it just, like Celia said, it really makes you realize not only how good we have it, but how much we take it for granted. And one thing that surprised me a lot more, that it touched me, was our group. Like Mom said, in just 4 or 5 days, we formed such a connection with this group and shared and just from the heart and got so close and, talked about, deep stuff you don't talk about with strangers, and like our own professions of faith. And it was just an amazing experience working with all of them and working with the people that lived there that helped us and translators. And another thing was I did intake, so when people come in, and to see the doctors, you have to have a ticket. And to get the ticket, they have to go through a little evangelism class, and the kids and the adults are separated for the evangelism class. And it was amazing just how they took that in, and their willingness and their openness to something that a lot of them had never even heard of before. And even though we knew that some of them were just going through so that they could get seen by the doctor, still they heard the gospel, they heard the word of God, and they saw people working for God and for them. And we saw 750 patients. 1,750 patients. And out of that, there was about 400 professions of faith. And it doesn't sound like a lot in comparison to the amount we saw, but think of that. Over 400 more people are going to be in God's kingdom just because of a team of 20 people. And we had, next thing, I'm kind of scattered like she is, but one thing that touched me one day just made me bawl like a little baby. We would have, most of the time, even though we're supposed to have an hour break for lunch, it would be at most 15 minutes because Brother Jim would be like, all right, just one more group, then we'll have lunch. One more group, then we'll have lunch. Just one more, then we'll have lunch. So it would get down to the wire, and one time I sat down and was having some sardines and crackers, you know, delightful. And these two little boys came up and were sitting beside me, and their, what I assumed was their mother was sitting over waiting for a doctor. And we had these, like all the little kids got these little rubber balls, and you would have thought they all just got PS4s. Like they were so happy about that. And I talked to those two little boys, and one of them, like I was teaching him like 1 through 10 and like in English from Spanish. And I asked him, I was like, is that your mom over there? And he was like, that's my new mom. And it had turned out that I'm not sure if their parents had died or if they left, but either way, these two little boys had been orphaned. And all the while we were talking and playing, you could just feel the joy radiating from them, radiating from all the people. And that was just one instance that really touched me, and out of many. And like Mom said, I would encourage everybody, you know, there's a lot to do here, you know, plenty of ways to step out. And also it is, from my experience, it is so beneficial to go overseas, to go somewhere that you haven't been before, totally out of your element. It might not be the most comfortable thing you've done, but it will be one of the most rewarding. And that's good.
All right, I guess I'm the closer. I can't say enough about how you can tell that all of us were affected and touched by not only being able to be the first group from this church to ever do something like this, but from the things that went on and the people's hearts that we got to see and feel, and hopefully the people that saw our hearts and your hearts through us, because without the entire church or this village, as I say, we could not have done it by ourselves. And my heart is to have any and everybody, every one of you, to go with us or any. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter. The where is not important, and the with who's really not important. The intent of your going is what's important. Okay, I just want to give you some facts about the people we went with and the country. And if you didn't get a handout in the back, some basic economic information and country information's in the back. Please grab one if you're interested on the way out. Nicaraguan Christian Outreach is the group we went down to serve. They are a native group founded by a pastor, a local Nicaraguan pastor, about 30 years ago during the oppression of communism, when in the rural areas the government took away everybody's land and rights, and he started an outreach for his local community. He had 11 children. Most of those continue to work in the ministry. They go to college, they learn engineering, they learn medicine, they come back and work. They're working into the 4th generation of this family, which was probably the most touching thing to me, is these people are dedicating their entire life and the entire life of their family to come back and serve their people because they know there's a need. They stop what they're doing when we come. They have a school that this group started of 600 kids. The principal of the school, who's one of the granddaughters, checked in with her school at 6, got her vice principal started in school, and came and spent the entire week being my interpreter, speaking for me, teaching me about her people. And she does this up to 40 times a year with different groups. We gave her a love offering, but other than that, she does it for nothing. Her aunt, one of the daughters, travels 7 hours one way to cook and clean and wash our clothes for every group that comes through. So she may stay a month at a time away from her home while putting 2 children through medical school in another country she had to take them to get them a decent education. And she drives back or gets driven back or takes the bus back to cook for this group because they believe that we are helping their people. That was the most touching thing to me. There are multiple other individual events we were supposed. Oh, we've got more slides. Okay, I thought it got turned off. This was the part of the compound that we stayed in. It was bought and built by a group from Louisiana that went into cooperation with the group from Nicaragua, and is being built up ever since. We have 4 denominations partnering in this trip. There's always one base group, and that was a Baptist church in Mendon, Louisiana. We are now able to take our own groups, sponsored or based out of this church, with anybody else who wants to go, as the sponsoring group to this mission. The safety of this deal, the most dangerous place we went, I think any of our group would tell you the most dangerous place we went was the Miami airport. The safest I have felt, the least I have had anybody ask of me. I saw zero. I can't go to Piggly Wiggly without somebody asking me for $1. I had nobody in the entire trip come up to me with their hand out. They were standing in line for 4 hours to see Lynn, the medical group. Stuff, medicine, toys on the table. They took what you gave them, they hugged you, they thanked you, they left. They did not ask for a single thing. All they wanted was our love. The average income, now when I say average, that includes the top 1% of their country. The average mean income is $4,000 a year per household. The average income on the lowest welfare recipients in the United States is $12,000 a year here. That's the workers down there. It's not hard to get $1,500 a month from the accumulated services that our government provides our people here. Lynn worked with the country's #1 emergency room physician down there. He was head of the National Emergency Room. He made $600 a month. He was one of the richest people in the country. $1 a day is what a female home laborer is worth. $6 a day is what a man that works a shovel or a pick or an axe or a hoe for 12 hours a day is worth. The most skilled labor position in the country is a driver, because it is a skill to drive down there. $10 a day. We asked our driver, could he keep his family for that? He said yes, very well. So he considered himself blessed to have a vehicle to drive us around in. So, and food's the same price. Some medicine's cheaper, most medicine's more expensive, but food, a gallon of milk, still $3.50. So that's kind of how I base the price of food. This is the average home. The ones that our group, or any of the groups, multiple groups down there helping, the ones that the groups build are still 16, 18, 20-foot metal buildings, but they're secure. They're actually metal or wood frame buildings. 80% dirt floors. Almost none of them have water in the homes. Most of them have electricity with one socket. Jimmy, switch that to the next one. This is a lady, and I'll try to be quick, preacher, because I know we're over. It was 10 o'clock one morning. I went on walkabout while we had a break, walking down the street. There's this little kid stomping his feet and pointing to a bag that his mother had of the little ball that Shannon was talking about, 3 color crayons, a little coloring book, and 2 pieces of candy that all the kids got when they came through the ministry. The mother was taking the yellow piece of the candy out to share with the baby brother that didn't come to the clinic from the 6-year-old brother that did. The 6-year-old brother didn't hide it. He took it home, gave it to mama to share. The 3-year-old, on the other hand, did not want the yellow candy. He wanted the red one. And he was in the street stomping his feet. So what did Robert do? I walk up to him and I start stomping my feet. And that made him mad. So he went to the nearest mud puddle, sat down in the mud puddle, and started beating his fist on the ground. So what did I do? I went and sat beside him in the mud puddle and started beating my fist up and down. The mother was busted out laughing. I got up and left. 4 o'clock that afternoon, we're wrapping up, trying to get out of there. These were 18-hour days that we were doing, because when we would get done, we would go back and pack medicine till 12 o'clock for the next day and start again at a different place. So we're tired, it's hot, and I feel a tug on my britches coming. The little 6-year-old takes me down the street to his mother. Come inside, come in my home. Go in her home. She starts talking 100 miles an hour. I throw up my hands, no comprende. She slows down talking, still 150 miles an hour, no comprende. The little boy reaches and grabs the 3-year-old's hand, puts it in my hand, and points to the clinic. He wants his brother to go to the clinic. She wants her son to go to the clinic. She would not go. So we take him to the clinic with the 6-year-old monitoring my moves, and we hand him off to the nurses, and they give him a worm pill and 2 months of chewable vitamins and take him back. He was good. So I take the interpreter back a little while later to visit and make sure the mother understood what we did with the child and so forth. And why would you like to come? No, I can't come. We would love to see you at the clinic. No, I can't come. Why can't you come? Ask her why you can't come. Come inside my home. She went and sat down at this sewing machine. Now, this is not a 1890s Singer sewing machine. This is a 2014 Chinese remake of a Singer sewing machine, complete with the leather cord and the foot pedals. Everything. Complete. With the gold inscriptions and everything that surely aren't gold. But. She had gotten this from going to a school and learning how to sew to make money for her family, for her 2 kids. This is her home, 16 by 16. The only room in the home, she had a little shed on the outside with some bricks that she cooked on. 1 bed, 1 wash lavatory with a bucket of water, and this, each had a corner. No door. She may have had a door. I didn't see the door. But, she would not leave for fear somebody was going to come and get her sewing machine. When she left to go get groceries or whatever, she got somebody to come stay, or her children will stay. Not a violent people, but they're hungry, they're poor, they have crimes of opportunity. She was not going to let that sewing machine get away from her because she had started to make money for her family. What touched me was she entrusted me, because I shared a little fun, I thought, with her children and looked her in the eye and didn't want anything of her. She entrusted her 3-year-old to me to take a 1/4 mile away. And most of you have children, you understand what that means. Do we have one more, Jimmy? That's it, isn't it? Okay. This is the school. Built nicely 20 years ago in communism from the money they got from taking the farmers' land away and selling it. Now the plumbing is gone because there's no electricity, there's no wells. They've had to dig outhouses to go to the bathroom and lock the bathrooms, which were nice, up. We went to one school that had water. They were borrowing it from a neighbor, filling buckets and taking them and pouring them in the toilet to flush the toilet. That was the only school I said had water. They all had lunch rooms. They had athletic program. Now it's none of that. A teacher makes $250 a month, comes in at 6, teaches elementary till 12, teaches high school from 12:30 to 6, in hopes that the average of 30% of the population ever makes it to the 12th grade. But they come, and the schools were full. And when we came, they were gracious, humble. They cleared their classrooms. They shuttled kids in, because we were the only, this is public school, we were the only medical services that they got. The only thing that school got was delayed pay for the teachers. Other than that, the buildings were on their own. That school had about 100 desks. Most of the kids stood up during class, and there were 4 chairs, regular chairs without desks, in the entire school. There were probably 1,200 students in that school. So, if you're interested, we would love to talk to you further about going. I would love to put a group together to go here or anywhere else. The main thing, everybody is not supposed to be a foreign missionary. I can tell you that anybody will go. It will change your heart and your life of what you do here with your family and your neighbor. It will give you a whole different outlook on life. Sorry, preacher, you knew it was going to be this way.